Entering the Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, the final major of the golf year. I mean, it's only July, but hey, it's the final major. It's golf season. It's got to wrap itself up quickly here. The 2019 British Open picks, bets, tips, one and done preview. We got it all for you. Tim ANDERCUST will be joining us a little bit later on to see who his 3-pack is going to be, and then he'll get confused and then claim he picked the wrong guy after that guy misses the cut, because we know how this goes. Joining me in studio, riding a heater, by the way, Geoff Fienberg.
Hope so.
You got money to play with now, sir.
Yeah, feeling the burn. And as we were, I don't know, just got a sweat in the moment, but I don't want to know about it for the integrity of this record.
Yeah, you got some Woodland under your belt. You had a Kevin Na win. It's been a nice stretch of 2 months for you. For me, not so much. For you, very good.
I want to say something else.
Okay.
I'm really hoping that Jonathan Deere goes my way as the day progresses.
It has to, because for the first time in 5 weeks, I didn't bet for Telly, so he's definitely going to win.
I actually really hope he does, but let's not discount. I had the Rafa collapse last Sunday, and Bryson just got getting gutted. So I am in form. Let's go. I'm fired up.
I see that. I wish I could be as fired up as you are right now.
I took a bath, literally, only like my friends who've like had to endure watching like a big Charger game with me. Like I pretty much took a bath in the sink there. I'm hot.
That's how.
Like if you notice,
perspiring is what you're saying.
No, like just like I had to cool down. If you notice, it was like extra slippery.
It was a bit slimy when I was putting on my makeup. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It was I made it slippery in there. Sometimes I literally like turn the sink into my own bath.
All right, I got giveaways. So if people are losers like me, they can get into these draws and potentially get some cash or a membership to fantasynational.com. So I'm going to spell this out for you. Actually, let me tell you what we got going on here. I did a show with Justin Ray last Friday. It's a course preview and his thoughts on narratives. Justin Ray is super sharp. I recommend everyone go check that out. You can go download the podcast, watch the video, Pat Mayo Experience. You can find that all very easily. I highly, highly recommend it. Obviously, today we're doing the picks. Tuesday, we're doing the DraftKings picks. 1 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday, the live British Open chat. Then, Cut Sweats live. It's going to be early. It's going to be like noon or something like that on Friday. So while you're looking to like bugger off from work and you're still sitting at your cubicle or whatever this the hell you do, you can just tune in with Geoff and us and our friends live as we sweat down the Open Championship and watch my picks go down the tube, Geoff. That will not be a lot of fun.
I absolutely loved your show with Justin.
Really?
Well, I think every time you do those, like whether it be Shack House or
when I had Wiley on.
Yeah, I feel like the like special major shows before you get into, the nitty gritty of, us killing in 90 minutes and you do the real serious like DK breakdowns. I love your like early Friday major drops.
They've actually become one of my favorite shows and some of the most downloaded shows that I do too.
Well, Justin is fantastic.
Absolutely.
Like,
I'm really going out of my way to try to get really sharp guests that I don't normally have on. And I think Justin definitely qualifies for that. Yeah. Wiley qualifies for that. House qualifies for that.
And because Justin is so good at what he does, but I don't think he looks at it from the same like lens that like, a gambler or like a DraftKings player does. He's so just ingrained on stats and information for the tour and the people who he works for. Or I don't know, maybe he is a gambler, but I didn't really get that.
I think that he's getting more in, like, I think he's seeing the viability of what he does as it pertains to gambling.
Oh, yeah.
So he's starting to get more and more and more. And he's like, I got a lot of info here. I got like some of the best info in the world. Might as well try to use this a little bit more. But no, I think that he was, because he does so many different interviews with so many different people. I don't think he had ever talked to anyone coming from like our perspective on things. Yeah. So it was really cool to get his reaction to a lot of it. Anyway, giveaways. Here's what you need to do. If you want to get into a draw, there's a $250 giveaways, a couple $100 giveaways, a couple $50 giveaways, a couple $20 actually there's more than a couple $20 giveaways. I'm going to be trying to be giving away as many DK bucks as possible so you can max enter or get into one of the higher stakes contests. That's my promise to you people out there. Here's how you get into these draws. 1, for the video, smash the like button, leave your DraftKings handle in the comment section. Then you tell me your pick to win the British Open in 2019. That's way number 1. Way number 2, and this is the easiest one to win, people. 5-star review for the audio podcast. Leave your DraftKings handle in the comment section along with something you like about the show. Boom, you're in the draw for that too. The other way to do it, Instagram. Follow me at the PME on Instagram. Heart one of the golf photos that pop up or videos. Just leave your DraftKings handle in the comment section. You want to say something nice? Hey, that's only going to give you more weight in the draw. Those are the 3 ways to get into the draw for the DK Bucks. For the Fantasy National annual membership, here's what you need to do. You need to share this show around. Whether it be on Facebook, give it a share. It's on Twitter, give it a share. Comment about it on whatever social platform you're on, and leave your DraftKings handle reply to me with it. Put like hashtag, British Open, and then your DK handle, and boom, you're in that. Here's the stipulation, though. You already need to be a member in order to win. We will just upgrade your membership to bring you through next year's British Open. So if you're not already a member, I suggest you become a member of fantasynational.com right now. There's a weekly, a monthly, and an annual. And if you get in the draw and you win, you'll just get upgraded free for the year. That's my promise to you people out there. But you got to be a member already if you want to get in the draw. So share that stuff around. And the PME DraftKings Open, the final huge one of the year, DraftKings has guaranteed $90,000 in the prize pool. There are 6,000 spots available. Actually, there are fewer spots available now because I've released it on Friday. But $15 to enter, 3 max entry, no rake. It is the best tournament on DraftKings, and you can find that in the description of this podcast, in this Facebook video. If you're watching on YouTube, then you have to go to, I'll provide the link to the Facebook page. We can't put the link on YouTube anymore. We don't want to get banned. So you just find it in the audio podcast or on the Facebook page, and boom, you're in. Jeff, you going to play in it this week? You got some extra bucks. You got some extra bucks. Why not?
I'm always good for a major. I'm going to max, but I'm always in. I'm always in.
All right, should we get to him?
I haven't done well in a long time.
Yeah, I'm running very, very cold here, anyone who watches the show knows how cold.
Well, DraftKings,
for me, I'm running pretty cold. But let's maybe talk to someone, and then I can reverse my momentum a little bit here to give his thoughts on the British Open and his picks. It is Tim ANDERCUST.
Tim ANDERCUST.
That is not my name. No one calls it that.
I think everyone calls it that. And even though you're like fake name for Cuss Corner, there's a new Cuss Corner. If people want to go back and find that, people have been calling it Bottom Cat Corner because your takes are so horrendous.
I think one unclever person called it that. More and more people are calling it Top Cat Corner all the time. There's nothing you can do about it. It's taking over, and I'm glad to see it.
Yeah, I don't know, but Jeff, do you think people are calling it Top Cat Corner? Because I haven't heard
met
that.
a person.
I haven't heard that either.
I haven't met a person.
Tim likes, because people troll Tim on the internet, but he doesn't think people are trolling him. So he's like, these people are really behind me with this stuff. He also bought a first place trophy.
You would say that.
He bought a first place trophy for himself and gave it to himself at his Canada Day party.
That's not true.
I have
outrageous lie.
I have confirmed that with 3 separate sources.
You know, that's literally...
No, you haven't.
That's a definitive gap ahead of giving yourself your own nickname.
Giving yourself a trophy?
Yes, presenting yourself.
No, I was just
with
showing
a
them
trophy.
this trophy that I won for being the best. It had number 1 on it. They were very jealous. And so, of course, they had to try to take me down for it.
Yeah, this is not the story that I got, is that Tim thought his party was so good, it was the best party. He bought himself a trophy at like the dollar store that said number 1 on it. Then he took a picture smiling with it. So low.
That's not true. That's not true.
All right, let's talk British Open. You ready for this?
Yes, I am ready for the Open Championship.
All right, we're calling it the British Open for SEO purposes. People need to find this show. I mean, you don't know anything about that. So who are your picks?
My 3 picks are Matt Kuchar, Leishman, and Matsuyama.
He used both of our one and dones.
I've already used Matsuyama, so Leishman will be my one and done.
But that's my one and done.
And you gave Kuchar. What? This is all very weird.
So I have to change my one and done then.
You didn't even. I guess that's a tease to the end of the show.
Yeah, that's who I planned on using for my one and done.
And I was using Evil Matt as my one and done.
Yeah, so he's using Leishman then. Why those 3 guys?
Well, I'm thinking Hideki because he's been playing some really good golf recently, and I just have a feeling that he's going to pop this week. It's a different. I've taken a look at the course. Sort of online. I've watched a bunch of YouTube videos on it to sort of get a sense of the best you can anyway, what this place looks like. I don't think it looks like a traditional like Royal St. George's Liverpool type of track. I think it'll play a little bit less Britishy than some of the older tracks will. So I think I like Hideki's ball flight, for example. I think it's going to match well here. Leishman I like just because if it's windy, and it probably will be, Leishman's a great wind player, and he has scored very well at RNA championships. So I think he's a smart play. I think there's value on him. And Kuchar, too. I mean, Kuchar would have won the Open 2 years ago if the RNA didn't let Jordan Spieth spend 45 minutes deciding where to hit a shot from. He's been the best golfer in the world this year. I think in terms of FedEx Cup points, doesn't he have the most of anybody?
I believe he leads the Wyndham
year.
Rewards.
Oh, Wyndham Rewards champion, Matt Kuchar.
Challenge,
He's all about them bucks. That's a quick $2 million for Matt. That works out for him.
That I guess
and
closes at the Wyndham.
Give his caddy $6,000.
Yeah, he pays his caddy enough. He just doesn't pay other caddies.
No, I know.
But Evil Matt,
so
we'll be talking about Evil Matt here coming up. But I mean, I'm probably going to end up betting Leishman. I got to figure out who my new one and done is going to be.
Why don't you just roll with me?
Because we can't have the same picks. That's a part of this competition.
I see.
So that would be why I can't roll with you on this one. But I like that you were aligned on this one.
Who did he use last week?
He's ahead of me. He used Morikawa, so he got a T3 out of it, and I had a guy who missed the cut because he's a loser. Although, did you see that on Twitter? Some DraftKings player was just like, Joel Damon, you're the worst. Don't even bother going to. Imagine being that guy. Tim, even you won't stoop that low on Twitter, will you?
No.
I don't know the story. I'm sorry.
Just people adding professional athletes telling them that they suck. Because they didn't play well.
Oh, yeah.
That in general.
That's very, very bad form. Bad form.
You can make fun of a professional athlete if you want to on Twitter, but you don't need to at them. Like, you don't need to,
If you're going to at them, don't be like, I lost $3 this week. Fuck you. Like,
don't go to,
If it meant that much to you, you shouldn't have been playing
you
in the
may
first
as well
place.
not bother going to the British Open, I think the guy said. Stay home.
No, that's like peak entitlement. That can't be defended or justified.
I'm going to switch to Adam Scott as my winner.
I can't believe how Adam Scott really has been playing.
Yeah, but he just never plays. Like when I
he plays at the big events. That's it.
Yeah, but I mean, as I pointed out a few times on this show, did you know that no player has won without playing in between the U.S. and British Open since Johnny Miller in 1976?
It's the only thing keeping me from hammering Xander, Tim. Is like, why didn't this guy play in the last month? Everything else points to Xander being a top of the board potential pick.
Is this going to be one of these weeks where we're sitting here, Tim? I mean, you've been good with Brooks so far. Is Brooks just going to come out and steamroll everybody?
Oh, I hope not.
I don't think so. I don't think Brooks's game matches well to British golf, even though this course isn't quite. I mean,
even though he's a Challenge Tour veteran.
Yeah.
What I like about the Open is that it forces people to play real golf, where you don't, players, they feel like they're entitled to hit the ball super high in the air with their irons and land it on the green. But that's not real golf. Like, real golf compels you to hit shots on the ground, have to think your way around it. I don't think that this type of golf is Brooks's strong suit. I think he's more suited for the U.S. Open and for PGA style track. Not that he couldn't win. Of course he could. Brooks is the best player on earth. Would shock nobody if he came out here and win. But I mean, it's another thing where if the wind is really bad, you can throw all these players into a cocked hat and pick out somebody at random because it'll just be someone who got real lucky with the draw and the ball just didn't bounce to the left instead of bouncing to the right in the wind, and it could be a complete crapshoot. So of all the majors, this is like the one where I think the most random chance comes into play. So try not to overthink it too much. Pick guys that are good, that have played well in Europe in the past, and that's it. I think it's a plug-and-play sort of set-it-and-forget-it tournament if there ever was one.
The only thing that I have a bit of hesitation on, obviously we're so far out, we wouldn't really know, but it doesn't really look like there's going to be any wind. If that's the case, and you see on...
And if there isn't, then the winning score will be like minus 17.
Yeah, but would that change who you like? Would you then want? I mean, Hideki would be fine because he just hits it ultra high in the air. But like the Kuchars of the world, the Leishmans of the world, like you're picking them because they can strategize around this. They can keep the ball and play really well in the wind. Like wouldn't that lean towards like a Brooks or a Dustin or a Rory or a Rahm type of player?
Well, I think Rory I would write out altogether. I think the plot lines are too much for him. He has performed under the greatest amount of pressure to begin with. So I don't think this is a good situation for a Rory play. But in general, I think your point is sound. Leishman would be less attractive. I mean, Kuchar's still an amazing player. He's probably top 5 in the world. He's a great golfer, and of course,
hold on a second. If he's top 5 in the world, who are the only 4 players that are better than Matt Kuchar?
I don't know. Brooks, Dustin Johnson, I guess Rory McIlroy, and then I guess I don't know. You have to think around to find a fourth that you love more than him. I don't know.
All right, well, let's play some names here. Matt Kuchar, better or worse than Tiger Woods?
Right now, 2019, I would take Matt Kuchar.
I would say for 4 days in Northern Ireland, I would rather have Matt Kuchar.
Who's a better player? Top 5 in the world?
I don't know.
The Masters champion or the guy who's never won a major?
Can I get a head-to-head on that? Because I'd love to bet that.
How about Justin Rose or Matt Kuchar?
Very close. I would take Kuchar, I think. But, man, you could talk me into Rose, I suppose.
All right, how about
Olympic champion, major champion?
How about Francesco Molinari or Matt Kuchar?
No, I'm going to take Kuchar.
All right, how about Xander Schauffele or Matt Kuchar?
I'm going to take Kuchar. Kuchar's been winning a ton this year. Like Kuchar, you said, number one in FedEx Cup points. He's having a fantastic season.
Has he won since the swing season?
He hasn't won since the Sony Open in January.
So I'm not taking anything away. He's had an amazing year. And as I said, all through the year, I sort of like, in my head, I'm like, there's no way, like he's got to finally regress. But all year, he's been so consistent and solid. That downturn just never happened. That being said, he won the Mayakoba and the Sony.
Yeah.
And he was in the finals of the match play and nearly won that.
Yeah, he's been amazing. He's been amazing.
Yeah, so like I think
and apparently he's working on being a better guy.
You certainly couldn't make the case that he wasn't top 10. Put it that
okay,
way.
sorry.
I mean, I've just listed off 10 guys, and we haven't even got into Justin Thomas or Cantlay or Fleetwood, Stenson, Scott, Hideki, Jason Day.
To be fair, Matt Kuchar isn't a top 5. Matt Kuchar isn't a top 5 player in the world. Evil Matt Kuchar might be.
Now he's the bad guy. Now he's the Razor Ramon of the PGA Tour.
Evil Matt Kuchar he's sort of like Sunday Hovland or Saturday Cantlay.
Yeah, Sunday
the best.
Sunday. Too bad Hovland's not playing because that's now a thing that we need to be wagering on every week. That he's just going to be out of the tournament and shoot 60 every Sunday.
Whoever lay the minus like 190 against like the 31-year-old PGA veteran, and Hovland will crush him.
All right, we haven't talked
he's
to you.
He's going to have like 15 wins in Ryder Cup because it's always played on Sunday individual points. He's so young, he's going to play like 10 or 15.
Hovland v. Wolf.
Hovland v. Wolf. You're taking a big L on that one to start off.
That's good. That's like a 9-8 for Hovland.
9-8 versus
I
Matthew
could have
Wolf.
said 10-9, but I decided
PGA.
I could have said 10-9.
So
but
PGA winner Matthew Wolf versus Victor Hovland.
Hovland's,
Wolf has his tour card. Does Victor even have
amateur at the Masters? The Open's more impressive.
I don't see how you think that low amateur at the Masters is equivalent to winning a PGA tournament. That's great. Open. Yeah, so not winning better than winning. Thank you.
Well, I mean, you win the medal, you get to be in Butler Cabin. I mean, more people know who he is. Put it that way. More people have seen him because he was in the green jacket ceremony than anyone's ever heard of Wolf. I mean, come on.
Yeah, you realize that most people don't stick around for the Butler Cabin stuff. More people know.
Yes.
No, they don't.
They
Tim.
certainly did this year at the Tiger one. They certainly
people
did
watch Tiger win, the high five, the hug of the kid, and they tuned out. That's generally
no.
What you see a dramatic.
You
think a lot of things, but you don't live in reality. So you can look at the you can look at the ratings drop the moment the putt goes in on 18. Everyone tunes out.
Listen, Tim is coming off telling me that I was going to watch a tennis match for an hour today. It ended up being over 5.
This is true. I would say more people know Hovland from round 4 of the U.S. Open than anything he did at the Masters.
I think once it all like triggers. I don't remember where they knew him from, but like it's I've heard him
because
before,
you would have had to see Hovland only in Butler Cabin because they weren't showing him on Sunday at the Masters because he wasn't in it. He was in it at the U.S. Open.
That's good points.
Matthew Wolff, PGA Tour winner and the best swing since Jim Furyk. So you got to watch out for that. I'm disappointed that his win did not get him into that. Sucks to be the 3M Open, by the way. Like the Canadian Open has qualifying seats. The John Deere Classic has qualifying. The Quicken Loan had open qualifying. The one where like we would have loved to see Wolff and Morikawa play in the British Open. They play really well at the tournament that has no connection to it whatsoever. That sucks. But they both have their tour cards. Tim, do you think that Victor Hovland's going to be a really good bet on the Corn Ferry Tour next year?
I just learned what that was the other day. I didn't know it was still wasn't web.com. That's how disconnected I was.
Tim still thought it was nationwide.
Yeah, well, it only switched like 3 weeks ago or something like that. Yeah. But as it
fair
stands,
enough. That's why. Fair enough.
As it stands right now, he's going to the Corn Ferry Tour.
Corn Ferry playoffs.
Yeah.
At which point he'll kill it.
Well, only if it's on Sunday.
Who won Corn Ferry today?
Who cares?
That guy Oda that I bet for like 6 weeks straight is fine. was up there.
Any other thoughts from down the board? Like you always like betting like Lee Westwood.
Oh yeah, who's your
Lee West.
Who's
random Euro? I mean, again, there will be a random Euro or random South African who runs up. If the weather is benign, Oosthuizen is an interesting play. Year he won at St Andrews was very calm. He ripped that place apart. He tends to play better when the weather is weather is decent. So I think he could definitely go ahead and contend for this. Although he's not a random name, he's a good player. You mentioned Stenson. I wouldn't count Stenson out from having something. And I wouldn't count
so he's gone to
Woodrow
30 and 40 to 1 here
the guys
for
that you
his
won't-
like
yeah,
bold picks.
The guys you won't count it. You're like that guy in the. I think it was
No, I only have
but I'm saying like who's the random old dude or the random Euro that could just randomly find himself in
Phil
it?
Mickelson 100 to 1.
Saying
Tim
Stenson is going to be in it. He's 30 to fucking 1.
I find it surprising that Phil is 100 to 1. That seems like bad odds. I don't know. I'm trying to think here. Some older guys.
I'll give you one to throw.
Furyk 200.
If it plays like super windy, I think Furyk is incredibly live here.
Zach Johnson 175.
Oh, sure. If it's super windy.
If not,
but I'm like now in my brain thinking it's going to be calm. It's going to be again like Aaron Hills all over again. It'd be unwatchable because it'll just be
Stuart Sink 500 to 1.
Oh, Open champion Stuart Sink.
L's 400.
Do you ride the? You said okay. We both said old, and you said random Euro or South African. This guy is both old, a Euro, and a South African. Rory Sabatini, Slovakia's own.
Hey, he got to do that hole in one at the U.S. Open.
He did. That's the.
Oh yeah. Any hole in one prediction here?
Yeah, I think it's going to happen.
So
the greens look really
really
hole
in one. Max.
I think
bet double underline. Okay.
I'm glad we got that out of the way. So any final thoughts? Are you excited for the NBC coverage? That's like from beginning till end every day?
No, not particularly because Azinger is going to be doing the color commentary, and you can't listen to him. He has nothing insightful to say.
Hopefully,
he's awful.
Yeah, someone remind him Henrik Stenson has won a major.
But
of course he did.
For the
he
first,
beat Phil in match play.
No, I know Azinger. Never mind.
For the first part of the coverage.
Oh yeah, I know because he didn't know that Molinari had won one that he called.
Yeah, he did the same thing with Stenson too. Oh yeah, that's right. At Bay Hill, he's like, this will be the biggest win of Molinari's career.
Like he's the reigning champion. Oh, frustrating.
Who's going to be the golf? They'll have Faldo for the Golf Channel coverage, though, won't they?
Well, maybe on the Thursday and Friday, but when it comes into the actual tournament, like the leaders and stuff, it will be Azinger and Dan Hicks.
Yeah, it'll be Hicks and Azinger for the NBC coverage on the weekend, but it's going to be Golf Channel Thursday and Friday, and they'll start the majority of the coverage, even on the weekend, is going to be on Golf Channel because they'll start when the first guys on the course go out. I think it's Faldo and Tarico. That's a good team.
Love Tarico.
That could be.
Love it.
And and the other great thing about the Open is that they do it right. There's no split tees here. They play real golf. You play hole 1 through 18, and everyone faces the course.
As much as I don't want it to happen,
so asinine.
He's still mad.
It's so asinine that
Tiger won. Like everything about that is a great memory. He's still triggered that they wanted to finish on Sunday.
Well, when you're a millennial like Tim, everything triggers you. If things don't go exactly how you want them to go, you have a little bit of a meltdown.
What time?
And then
but a couple years ago, if you remember, they would have had to split tees on the Sunday at St Andrews, and the RNA said, "Nope, we'll just go to Monday."
We did go Monday.
It's more important to us. It's more important to us that we play the golf course the right way from start to finish, rather than doing some gadget of playing off of 1 in 10. And so the RNA get it. They are the best golf organization in the world. They know how to set up a course better than anybody else, and they know how to run an event better than everybody else. So in that sense,
I'm not going to argue with a lot of what he said.
I'm going to argue that when we compare the ratings from that year at the Open Championship versus the Masters from this year, what do you think did better?
The Masters are always going to do better.
Yeah, they're usually kind of comparable. But if you push
Tiger was in the lead.
But if you push anything to a Monday, it's never good for any golf tournament. It's bad.
Well, but the RNA don't care about that. They care about the integrity of the tournament. They've been around for hundreds of years. They don't care. The A stands for ancient, after all.
Does it actually stand for ancient?
Yeah, the Royal and Ancient. That's what it stands for.
Let's see. This is right up your alley, then.
Yeah, that's why I really like the British. I like the way they do things. I
You
like how they
almost called
always
it the British
announce
Open.
the previous years, like when they name the players off the first tee, only the reigning champion gets named as Open champion. If you won it 2 or 3 years ago, you're not the reigning champion. You're just a guy. I like that.
Sick.
Odd.
Like it's
Are you mad that it's in Northern Ireland?
No, I think it's fine. I mean, I don't like new courses, and I think there's enough nice courses on the island of Great Britain that they didn't need to add a new one. But whatever, it's fine. We'll check it out. We'll see how it plays.
island.
They needed to, the thing is they needed to add in a new one because obviously, usually on the zeros and fives they go to St Andrews, but they can't next year because they want St Andrews for the 150th. So they had to add in a new course here in between in the Rota for this one stretch. And so I think it's fine. We'll see how it plays. There's been some guys from Northern Ireland, so it should be interesting. I think they've been here before. It's not like it's brand new.
Are they going back to Trump Turnberry anytime soon?
No, Turnberry is on the Rota. They refuse to take it off, but they're not going there, and I suspect they won't while he's in office.
But it's still, like when he leaves office, it's still going to be Trump Turnberry.
Him retweeting
Yeah,
the
but-
Trump resort tweets
Or great.
isn't.
But like-
it's,
But like the PGA is going to Trump National in 2022.
they are.
So I mean,
And
in
we-
theory,
yeah.
he could still be sitting president then. But I just think the RNA doesn't want to.
I Mr.
They want
Al.
to check out this new place.
I missed Al too. Remember,
Yeah.
remember when he was campaigning and he just showed up on the Sunday in a helicopter? It was great. And it just so happens he is close personal friends with everyone on the PGA Tour,
Everyone.
apparently, which is probably
Like Johnny
true.
Miller.
He's pretty much friends with every single elite player and Von Taylor. Or no, who's the one?
Jim Herman.
Jim Herman. Sorry, that's right.
Yeah, Jim, the Herminator's his guy. All right, Tim, thank you for being on.
My pleasure. Have a fun viewing week, folks. For the last major, it feels weird to say that, but that's what
it'll
it
be
is.
come Sunday, it'll be a long time till Augusta, friend.
So to recap,
It's
for
basically the season's kind of over.
Yo, you're done. You're done. To recap, Tim's picks for the British Open are Mark Leishman, Matt Kuchar, and your pick to win, Tim, is Hideki Matsuyama. Is that correct?
That is correct.
I like his 3-pack. I don't
All
mind
right.
it.
Thank you very much for being on the line. Tim Undercust!
Tim ANDERCUST.
And yes, that is his name. He also cursed Wimbledon, too. Did you see that?
I did.
It's going to be straight sets from here on out. Longest match in history.
In history.
Of course it was.
That was fantastic. I'm not a tennis guy, but that held me as it should.
I found out my son, he loves watching golf. I
Yeah.
think it's like the brightness of the green he really enjoys. Turns out tennis, he's kind of in on too. So I guess I have to have like a country club kid now.
There it is.
He's going to get into polo. What are some other good country club games?
I don't know. Shuffleboard? No, it's more like I don't know.
I feel like
What
that-
else?
I feel like that's
it's just
next tier
tennis
down.
and golf, right?
Tennis, golf, Paul, what'd you say? Croquet. Crockett.
I mean,
Davy Crockett. Get into
Polo's
that.
like a full level up. Maybe like lawn bowling.
Lawn bowling. My wife plays in a lawn bowling league.
Okay.
There's very casual ones around town now. It's not just for the olds anymore. It's for young riches.
Don't worry. My 3-year-old thinks all the golfers on TV are daddy's friends.
Aren't they?
Well-
Only a few of them are.
Just a couple.
All right, let's talk about the top odds at the British Open. Actually, I'll talk about the course a little bit. I did the full breakdown with Justin Ray if you really want to hear about it, but it's a par 71. It's 7,334 yards. The biggest factor you need to pay attention to for the British Open this week are the tee draws and the weather. And the weather has substantially changed in the last 2 days that I looked at it. I fully anticipate it switching the next 2 days as well. I'll release my final betting card on the live show at the beginning on Wednesday. So I don't plan on piling up too many names unless there's a value. And I've only bet 2 guys so far, and both of their odds have dropped. So I feel like I really got in at the right time on those 2. Whether they win or not, I don't know. But I feel like I'm winning, getting good value at this point. I'm sort of like Chris Jericho. I'm getting moral victories in wrestling. I'm getting better numbers than I should, despite the fact that they're probably not going to win. So the weather draw right now, Friday afternoon looks dicey. The worst of the week, Friday afternoon. It looks rainy and it looks windy. The rest of the time, it does not look windy, it does not look rainy, and it looks like it might be dried out. Between 50 and 60 degrees Fahrenheit the entire week for anyone international or Canadian like us. That's like 12 to 14 degrees. Not great weather, kind of cold to tell you the truth for golfing weather, but I do think that you need to wait. And if there is a draw that looks like it's going to get wiped out, whether it be betting, whether it be DraftKings, I think you need to pay a lot of attention to that.
Absolutely. Like you, I'm in on a couple guys. I feel pretty good about the value. We'll get there when we get there. I'm concerned about making any bets before we get closer at this point.
Yeah. No, I'm with, unless something really sticks out to you, like, hey, that number is wrong, or you hear some information, then that's what you kind of have to go with.
Or, well.
You're going to bet who you're going to bet anyway. I know you are. Like, I'm going to bet Siwoo and I'm going to bet Luke List. That's happening.
Sure, but their decisions like closer to the top.
Yeah,
although I feel like I've done some, almost X-naying of the majority of those guys, Pat. I'm also very curious on a course no one's ever seen before. Are we getting bad weather like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? Can they practice?
It doesn't look like they're getting bad weather Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Right now, like the forecast looks kind of nice. Amanda Rose for Fantasy National is actually over there right now. So if you got any questions about the weather, how the course is shaping up, about the players, she's going to be on site she's going to be on site all week, but she'll be there for the practice round. So if you got a question, just tweet at Amanda. She'll figure it out for you. She got some videos on the go.
I have a feeling it's not going to play as we were told it was going to play for like 5 years, which is like as hard as they sort of built it up to be.
Well, if the weather does go down, just load up on bombers. That's honestly what I'm going to be doing. Like, Rory will have a substantially good chance of winning if there's no wind.
Even if it's like difficult, I still see a winning score being like 9 under, 8 under, maybe flirting with 10 under.
But if you don't get one of those waves wiped out, like even when we saw the Stenson Phil year, like...
Oh, they were like 7 shots ahead of third place?
They finished at like 20 under, and everyone else was at like 6 under. So there could be and you're not going to be able to predict where the soft spot happens, but they were in the legit, it was like them, JB Holmes, and Charles Schwartzel were all in like the soft spot of the draw. And sometimes, especially at this one, at the British Open, you're going to kind of have to get lucky with the weather. Unless it's just fine the entire 4 days, which never really happens. I'd prefer it to be a bit gusty one of the days to throw a real monkey wrench into the situation.
I don't know. You see, it's all in the hindsight of having bet on Woodland, but I enjoyed the U.S. Open. It felt like there were 4 rounds and there wasn't a single like weather edge at any point in the whole tournament on any day.
Yeah, but you have to think about this from my perspective. As someone who's just going to lose anyway, I just want like high drama.
Yeah.
I want something fun to watch.
Well, if it's not difficult, I think we'd agree. There's only 25 guys who can win, and that's probably being generous. I mean, to play the role of Brooks and to take my lipstick and cross off names. If it gets windy, I think there's so many guys in play, like your Willets, your Pepperells, like there's just a consortium of players that I think are brought right into this thing.
Is that how you do your golf picks? You put them on a piece of Bristol board, you sit at home like Steve Buscemi and Billy Madison?
No, but that's what list? What do you think? No, but that's what Brooks does that on the flight over, I assume. Isn't that his thing? Like half the field is gone. And then it's like we're down to X amount of players. And of those, it's only natural that some of them will play their ways out of it. And then we're down to his remaining worthy ones that he determines.
All right, let's get into it then. The favorites at the British Open coming in. Hometown boy from Hollywood, North Ireland. Rory McIlroy is the favorite at 8-1. Brooks Koepka is 10-1. Dustin Johnson, 16-1, the same as Jon Rahm, the same as Tiger Woods. Justin Rose is 20. Francesco Molinari is 25. Xander is 25. Tommy Fleetwood, 28-1. Those are all the names below 30-1. I'm kind of surprised that there aren't more names below 20-1 or 30-1, to tell you the truth. All the names we usually get at 25 or 28, they're 30-1 or beyond now. So of these very top guys, go ahead.
The Open has been very kind in hitting the number that 20 to 50-1 winner. If you sort of play them all.
Yeah, Molinari last year, Stenson, Spieth would have been.
Spieth was a favorite, but it was a weird one.
14 or 16.
Yeah, apparently, but that was the favorite at 14 or 16. So take that into comparison.
Remember how much money we had on Matt Kuchar to win?
Oh my God. I had one of those bets that someone made for me on those off, I was getting British pounds that's better than American money if you're Canadian.
Yeah.
That goddamn, I hate that sandwich. Although things are Evil Matt might actually be in a great spot.
We'll get to Evil Matt. If he shows up to Portrush with like a brand new goatee, like Mirror Spock, I think we're in good shape here. And just get all your money in on him. The number is crashed on him right now, though.
Yes, but let's keep going on who's won this. Even going back to L's, I think it was like at 44. Phil would have been like 26 or 30. Who did we? Zach was the big one.
Yeah, Zach won at 80.
Yeah, he won at 80.
And that's still really confusing that he won at St. Andrews.
And he even, because a good buddy of mine made the live bet. Sunday morning, he was still Sunday. It was a Monday because we were at the office.
Oh, that's right.
And it was the day Leishman, Spieth,
Day,
Louis,
yeah,
right? Am I naming everyone?
I feel like Day and Louis just missed that playoff by a stroke because it looked like Day was going to win. It was a lot like how that Zurich set up that time when they canceled the round. The Day was just heating up at the right time, and then he couldn't get into the playoff.
And Zach was even like 30-1 that morning.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's the real outlier, but just continuing, everybody that seems that's won this thing recently, Pat, we've seen form on either side of the pond.
Would you like to hear some trends?
Give them all to me.
I got some trends for you. And this will be from my column up on dkplaybook.com. I'll just read from it because I've already written it down. Lead-in form. 2 of the past 6 champion golfers won their last start prior to hosting the Claret Jug. 4 of the past 6 have a victory in one of their 2 lead-in events to the British Open. 5 of the past 6 have a win in their previous 5 starts. The only outlier from that list is Zach Johnson, who had 3 top 10 finishes in his previous 5 starts coming into St. Andrews. So if that's the criteria, you had to win once in your past 5 starts or have 3 top 10s in your past 5 starts. It really narrows the list down to a few guys. You have Brooks. You have Rory. You have Bernd Wiesberger. Whoever wins the John Deere, I suppose.
Rahm?
Rahm. No, and I guess the other one is each one of them had a top 10 finish at the British Open in the past 5 years. So Rahm is out because of that.
But he's such a great links player that you almost want to like put him in.
But as a part of this trend, he is not.
Yes.
So it's Brooks, it's Rory, it's Wiesberger, and a guy I've bet on at 80-1, Rafa Cabrera Bello.
Okay. What about, no, that makes total sense.
The other trend, no player, and this is a Justin Ray stat, so thank you, Justin Ray, for this one. No player has won without playing at least once between the U.S. Open and the British Open since Johnny Miller in 1976. The players in the field who would qualify for that, Tiger, Rose, Xander, Adam Scott, and Webb Simpson are the 5 guys that have not played since the U.S. Open. Now, that's not good because everyone's going to be on Adam Scott this week.
Yeah, Adam Scott's apparently pitched a tent. Has been living at Portrush. Well, we're all wondering where he is.
Do you think his tent is higher or your tent is higher after seeing the scores from today?
He's very like James Bond-esque. He's
a black woman? That's the new James Bond.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, it is.
Shut up.
Yeah.
When did that happen?
Today.
I don't mind.
She's not actually James Bond. She's just going to be 007.
Okay, that's fine.
Are you like a triggered internet
No,
person
I'm
now?
not. I'm
Are
not.
Are you?
This bothers me a little more. I didn't mind the Ariel thing. I was totally cool with too, by the way.
The Ariel thing.
Yeah, like the black Ariel for the Disney Little Mermaid.
They're fake characters. Who cares?
People were actually triggered about that. That was really weird.
Yeah.
This, I don't know, whatever. I'm done caring. I don't even go to the movies. I pirate them anyway.
See, there's the thing right there. Most people who get triggered about this stuff on either side, whether this is the greatest thing in the world or like this, I can't believe this is happening. We're going to the movie anyway. Who cares? It's like when Tim gets mad about water bars.
I listen, I'll watch it. I enjoy it. If it's a good story, I don't care. I thought Killing Eve was the best show I've seen in like 2 years and is pretty much all female leads. So I got no problem if it's good.
Yeah, just make it good.
But Ghostbusters sucked.
Yeah, it was not good.
Yeah, but if it's good, I like it. You got to make it good, and I'll like it.
So of the guys at the very tops of the board here.
We're talking about the guys that hadn't played.
Yeah, so do you think Tiger can win?
Okay.
Do you think he's 16? Would you bet 16-1 that Tiger can win?
There's not. I would almost do this one by one, but we could start with Tiger.
We'll start with Tiger.
He's like red ink for me. Ooh. I don't know whether something happened, like with winning the Masters, there was just like everything emptied. But it's just, I don't know. The guy doesn't seem right. He even joked he could be screwed if it's cold because he won't go there and practice. He literally will just practice in Florida. He doesn't play golf with a hat on or a jacket. You
know, Tiger actually fits that criteria because he's played so infrequently.
Do you want to know that
the win in the top 10?
Tiger's actual skill set to me is like ideal for here But
if it's windy.
There are mitigating factors to me that he's just red. He's red ink. I'm saying that about Tiger Woods. If I'm wrong, I hope I'm wrong because I'll be just as happy as someone with a huge bet on him or as everybody else. But I'm willing to cross a lot of guys off near the top, and he is one of them.
So the way that I've read
unbettable.
The way that I've read about it, the course, and like the stuff that I've looked at, the aerial shots, the fairways look incredibly wide, but if you miss the fairway, you're kind of screwed. It kind of reminds me of Erin Hills in that way. I don't know if the fairways are quite as wide as they were at Erin Hills, but if you
I hope so for Patrick Reed's
If
sake.
you somehow manage to miss the fairway at Erin Hills, that's when you got screwed. Just no one missed the fairway.
I would like to say, for the most part, Tiger, really outside of like his run at Copperhead last year, and correct me if I'm wrong, everywhere he's gone and played well or sniffed the lead were places he's played well in it historically.
Yes.
So I'm not prepared for him to cross a pond, have to be cold. It's a whole thing. He's trying to like wake up. You see, he's like posting videos. He's waking up at 1 o'clock here because he's not going over there. Why does he just go over there?
He doesn't want to.
Whatever.
Loves America too much.
The
Jeff.
season is an unmitigated success already. Nothing else matters as long as Spieth doesn't win anywhere to door me our wager. But no, he's unbettable. I don't even know what his true number, in my opinion, should be. I'd be embarrassed to say it out loud, so I won't go there.
I would say that his true number is probably
at least double that,
no,
maybe more.
I'd say it's probably 20 to 1.
More for me.
Okay. I mean, I don't know if I would bet it.
Don't
at 20
get
to
me
1.
wrong. He's the greatest golfer of our lifetime, and I'm going to bet a bunch of losers.
Sometimes that works. Sometimes. Let's go to Rory. Rory's at 8 to 1. He's the favorite. Do you think that it's too much pressure for him to win here? Because I think it is.
I think, and people are saying that this win is more meaningful for him than a Masters win.
and
you might agree with it,
I would
right?
agree. It's like Graham McDowell said that like this is him just walking up 18 is the best moment of his career. And he's won a US Open.
Yeah.
He's like, to these guys, like to have it back in Northern Ireland after 68 years, I think it is.
51 or 58, whatever
I believe
it was.
I believe it's 68.
No, I meant the year was like what? In the 50s was the last time it hosted it.
Yes. 1951 was the
what I meant.
year. So it means a lot to these guys.
Here's the thing about Rory. Even on his best rounds, it feels like he leaves a stroke and a half out there. Right?
Yeah.
Of the elite players, is there anybody who you feel leaves strokes out there more than him? Of the elite guys.
At this point, Justin Thomas qualifies as the guy who leaves the most strokes on the course over the past 3 months. But other than that, yes, you're right.
So I just can't go there with the pressure, with the favorite. If it is a Disney movie and it's going to play like one, much like Tiger winning, I'll love it. I love these guys. I'll be into it. But at 8 to 1, hard pass.
Brooks, 10 to 1. I think Brooks does, I mean, especially because he has the time on the Euro Tour, the Challenger Tour.
And his caddy's from here, apparently. So his caddy's like a links golf guy.
And he is, like, when you look at it, he and Dustin are the two that, regardless of how the course plays, if it plays super easy, if it plays super tough, they're both live.
If they are playing well, it doesn't matter. There are other guys that I've bet this week at bigger numbers that have won special things and we think special things of. To me, like course fit, if you're of a certain talent, course fit is irrelevant if you're playing well. Remember there's a time before Brooks won a major where we were still navigating through picking the events he would win. And we would get to places like the Players or like Memphis and be like, oh, there's so many landmines there. Brooks doesn't like, if there's so much like trouble, it's not like ideal. And we actually saw it, I think, and yes, he cares a bit less at other events, but we saw it last week. Like there's tons of water and he like was finding it a ton. That was the old guy. Like my point would always be when I wanted to bet Brooks before he was superhuman Brooks was if he's playing well, he's not finding the water. If that makes any sense. Like guys like Brooks, guys like Bryson, guys like Justin, they're playing well. Course fit is irrelevant to me.
What's a better number? Brooks at 10 or DJ at 16? We have not seen DJ this low at a major in quite some time.
For me, it's Dustin, but I got egg on my face probably from saying that for the last year of majors and having to pick them. If I had to pick them, I would pick Dustin. I think this Brooks thing, It's so like crazy now. And the fact that we can have this conversation speaks to how insane an achievement he has accomplished. But it is actually insane that people actually think and it's not just a couple, because Ben did a poll that was almost like 58, 42. People think he's going to win more majors than regular events today on.
That's asinine.
It's insane.
Now, that's not to say it can't happen. It definitely could happen, but it's not going to happen. He's going to play 20 times as many. Well, not 20 times. He'll end up playing 10 times as many regular events as majors. And he'll play against scrub fields. And
so I've made some bets in this regard, which now have me against Brooks in majors for the next 2 years. Because I think people are nuts.
So is it total majors his already accounted for majors, or majors from this point on?
This point on.
That's a bit much.
So it's pretty much 9 events to 43. And people assume, I get it, but Brooks could show up with his B game and beat Sung Kang or not have Keith Mitchell drain one in his face. He's going to find
that's
these
another one I
muck-mucks.
lost this year. The only time I backed Brooks all year, he lost to Keith Mitchell.
Right? That's
not great.
It's going to happen. People, doesn't try for WGCs or the FedEx Cup won't interest him. And this will all backfire when he raises a jug next week. But people to put people in a world where we're a year in the future and he hasn't won another major, it's unfathomable to some people. To me, that's the probability, but I'm the crazy one, I think.
Well, at least you put your money behind it.
I would have laid tournaments. If he wins one, I'm not even worried until I'm 2 behind. Because there's no way he doesn't win tournaments.
He'll probably win one in the FedEx Cup here coming up.
Probably. Anyway,
you just need to get him to the course to play.
I don't mind. I think if you like Brooks, it's great that there's a lot of steam from Rory, and it's great that Rahm has played very well, and it's nice that Tiger is who he is. Because I think 10-1 on Brooks for a major is
fair,
pretty good. Because the day after the U.S. Open, it was probably 7.5, and 25% more when you're dealing with numbers that small is a really big freaking deal. But he's still unbettable for me.
After coming second at the Masters, second at the PGA Championship, he has now gone 20th at the U.S. Open. There's 20th in Hamilton, 35th at the U.S. Open, missed the cut in Detroit. What's going on with Dustin, man?
I do worry there's an issue.
Is he injured?
I worry that maybe the home life isn't as gravy. That wife and 3 nannies. I don't know. You'd think it'd be fantastic, but I don't know. Something doesn't seem right there. He's been over getting runs in with McDowell at Portrush. I don't know why McDowell's given him a lending hand, but McDowell's been he's been over there getting some work in, unlike Tiger at least. There are 2 guys under 20-1 that I could consider giving my money to, and it is Dustin, and the other one is next up.
The other one's Justin Rose?
No.
Oh, Rahm.
Yeah. I don't think I would actually go there.
I would, at 16-1, you give me a choice between Dustin, Tiger, and Rahm, I'll take Dustin.
Yeah, I might too, but I'm just saying, to me, the guys ahead, and again, they've won majors. I'm here to remember, I picked the guys. When it comes to majors, I got to like you to bet you, I think. I don't think I could pull the trigger with Rahm, but he loves link golf. He loves golfing in Ireland. What's his last 3 tournaments? 3-2-1?
Yeah, 3-2-1.
I mean, it's all wrong. I picked him to win Player of the Year. I was wrong.
I'm just surprised, his British Open tracker, and I know each of the courses are completely different, but miscut 44th, 59th. That's not... Generally, as I pointed out in those trends, each of the past 6 winners has a top 10
but
in one of the previous 5 years.
Also look at, Rahm in general is either T3 or missing cuts.
Yes.
His whole year feels like that.
And generally, Link's courses, he plays really, really well. He's won the Irish Open twice now. This isn't in Ireland. It's in Northern Ireland. But
I do agree. The one, I even said it before, if they cross Dustin over 15, I'd really have to think about it. But I don't know. Give me a perfect weather report and I'll drop a hammer on Dustin at 16. But if there's all those variables.
I would think the variables might hurt Rahm more than they hurt Dustin, to tell you the truth. Did you see a bunch of the holes have been changed.
I still can't believe it was that St. Andrews Saturday. Dustin was in the lead. The course was right.
He was up by 4.
And he was the only guy in the top 30 to go backwards that day.
Yeah. Not great.
Oh,
The
man.
2012 Irish Open was actually at Portrush. They've changed 5 holes since, a few tee boxes.
Jamie Donaldson.
Jamie Donaldson, who showed up this week in Scotland.
Almost, I think he just missed.
He did not get
needed
in,
a
no.
birdie on one of the last
He
2
didn't get in.
holes.
It was Beef got in, Ibel got in, and not Zanotti.
Beef?
The guy whose name that sounds like Zanotti got in.
But Bernat, I don't know. There are a lot of Italian, and there was a French guy up there too. Langes. Oh, Herbert and
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was Bastille Day for those guys because they're all wearing those ugly hats.
So Donaldson was minus 18. Rafa came second along with Zanotti and Anthony Wall at minus 14. After that, Paddy Harrington was 12. And the notables, you had Rory, Francesco Molinari, and Ross Fisher at minus 11, T10. Graham was T16. Olesen, T18. John Daly, T24. Darren Clark, Grillo, Campillo, Shane Lowry, Robert Rock, Joust Loughton. The guys who missed the cut that week, Grace, Keegan, Fratelli, Andrea Pavon, Tommy Fleetwood, and Danny Willett all missed the cut in 2012. Now, that's a long time.
Campillo could be a really sneaky, big each way, get you that.
He got
tee.
MDF this week in Scotland. Ricky missed the cut in
Oh,
Scotland.
okay. But Ricky's could be good for bounce backs. When Daddy checks his BlackBerry, if there's good news, I might just be betting Ricky automatically. The account could be in such great shape. I'll just throw money into fire.
Do you actually have a BlackBerry?
No, did I say BlackBerry?
You said BlackBerry.
I said Samsung.
Is that because I said it was the 2012 Irish Open? You're like, what was I doing in 2012? Oh, texting on my BlackBerry.
Maybe. No, I'm not looking. I don't want to derail the show.
So these 20 guys, Rose, Xander, Molinari, Fleetwood, any interest? I know
Rose doesn't. I can't stand his face.
Okay.
I gotta I can bet you to win other events, but I can't bet you to win majors if I don't like your face.
You were initially interested in Xander.
The layoff really scares me. What's up with that? Why is this guy? Is he actually like a hawk hungry for a big game, or why does he think he's Adam Scott and Tiger Woods? Because who plays less?
Maybe he was just sick of playing someone he had played a ton.
He bailed on the Rocket Mortgage.
Oh,
and
no.
Was that no? I just was it just like I don't want to go Detroit, or I'm not feeling it, or is there something there?
That first half of it sounds like it. It's
Okay.
Detroit. I'm not feeling it.
His numbers make me feel like you gotta just bet him, like you gotta just like plug it. I'm upset if I missed. I know it's only 3 points, but I could have bet 28 like the other day. I see it's gone down. Maybe it'll go back up.
And
25 doesn't change. If I'm going to bet 28, I'm going to bet 25 if I make that decision. The layoff, I don't know why.
Does he have bad vibes at the British Open now after what happened to him last year?
With the crying baby
the
or
crying
what?
baby in the backswing, and they duffed the chit?
I don't know. He was, I think he was like 100 or 80 to 1 last year at the British.
He ain't no Mo.
I mean, his major championship run of golf, I mean, is this like the premium? Is he going to be just the most popular DK play? Because everyone just thinks he's so.
I mean, I think that now Burned might be one of the
Oh
ISOs.
yeah, that
just
happens.
he's so cheap.
Yeah, of course.
I still
sure.
like Burned for this week on DraftKings, but
I still like him too. He's doing what Byrne does.
Yeah.
I mean, a guy had to miss a couple 4-footers, but I ain't complaining.
yeah, it happens. So you're not like Fleetwood. We're out.
I just haven't seen anything. I think I'm out. I would rather just throw "I love you" bomb on that guy 30 to 1.
His British Opens have been getting better after missing 3 consecutive cuts to begin his career as a pro, 27th and 12th the last 2 years at the Open. He hasn't missed a cut since last year's Open. No, he made it. The week before the Open Championship, he missed a cut, or 2 weeks before. It's the last time he actually missed a cut.
I don't know. He could be in a good. I just feel like something just hasn't been right, and you could say, I mean, something's really not been right with Fowler.
Yeah, something's off with Fowler. Well, let's get to that.
Maybe it's the mustache.
Maybe, or the mullet.
Hold on, we skipped somebody who can't be ignored. He's the reigning Open champion.
Molinari.
He's too good to be ignored, but it does seem like
He's just not playing that.
he's
great.
not playing that great.
The Masters broke his brain.
And someone like sent me a clip of an interview he did recently. It was just all about, I don't know, it wasn't like this deep desire. It was all about just like getting some family time in, not really caring about the golf. And sometimes that's the best thing.
You win a major.
Yeah, you're making the paychecks.
You win 3 times last year. You
Yeah.
win with the
Bay
BMW.
Hill, like, yeah, the guy's crushing it.
You did fantastic.
I'm not debating that. And
You were the hero of the Ryder Cup.
And this year, there's a bit of experimentation. We'll see what happens next year. Because as fans, I think we can all say this first run, we've liked the schedule. These majors once a month, I think it's been really exciting.
And now it's going to be adjusted a little bit next year. Like the WGC.
Because of Olympics? I forget why.
Oh, yeah, I forgot the Olympics are next year. But I don't know how that's going to affect the
Tokyo.
3M will be after the British Open next year. And the WGC will not be. I believe the WGC will fall in between the US Open and the British Open. So all these guys will end up
I was going to say, because next year, I think all these guys to a man might decide it's time. I should have found a way to play, but they're in many ways feeling their way around this new schedule. Okay, we've crossed 30. Something's wrong with Ricky.
So we're into 30. So here are the guys like 30 to 50, the next range. You got Ricky, Stenson, JT, Cantlay, Kuchar, Bryson, Spieth, Hideki, Jason Day, Louis is at 45. Then you got Casey at 50. Matt Wallace at 40 to 1. Matt Wallace has the same odds as Hideki, Jason Day, and Bryson.
Get out of town.
I like Matt Wallace.
I like him too.
But the only guy that I have money on from this range, I bet Justin Thomas a few weeks ago at 40 to 1. He's now down to 30. When I said he left, like he's been a guy leaving strokes out there, as someone who watched every shot of his Friday and Saturday round at the Scottish Open, if he had just putted okay, day one, he would have been the first round leader by far. And then Saturday, I don't know what happened to him. But then again, Sunday, just he ratchets it up. He's fine again. Driving power fours. Like, it does seem, I was not encouraged by his putting because it was not good, but it was better than it had been. And that's all we wanted. And that 40 number that they were hanging was too deep on Justin Thomas. He should be, even 30 is too big of a number. If I hadn't had the 40 number, I would bet him at 30. He's too good to be this low.
I was sanctioning the 33s. Once they had dropped it, I still thought that was a good number. After we recorded last week, I did get on the 40. I actually made like a group bet with a couple buddies of mine, so it's
juicy.
It will be a fun one. As someone that didn't bet him this week, I thought it was the perfect result. Like I couldn't have asked for a better result because you could still tell there's a volcano eruption of good, and it wasn't spoiled, and it's coming.
So you're saying that he may have the highest pitch tent of anyone?
I would hope so. I'm on team hoping he has the highest pitch tent, and hopefully the gang can drink out of his jug. But he is one of those players that I took almost as much away from his score as I did from what I heard him say after the round. I don't know. I was watching a Sky Sports stream and at home on the NBC. I don't remember which feed it was, but he was just like rave. He was smiling ear to ear, and he's so excited for next week. And he's like, I love links golf. And I don't know whether that's just something he's trying to tell himself, but I'm here for it. 40 to 1. I'm also in on the Bryson, but I got a 60 and a 75. Both players to me, if they're on, it doesn't matter. I do acknowledge they don't have the T10s in the Open that I would want, and they don't have the greatest links pedigree, and the course fit isn't really ideal. And if you
I think the course fit for Justin Thomas actually is ideal.
If you could let me bet both of these guys in for Memphis next week, I would crush it at 40 to 1 too, for the record. Because I think they're both like about to peak. I really do. They both look fantastic.
I wonder what that field is going to look like next week at the WGC.
Strong. A lot of these guys haven't played.
I agree, but are you going to get, like, normally for a WGC, you get everybody. I don't think you're going to get everybody.
Who wouldn't go? Scott?
Adam
he
Scott
never goes?
Yes.
Okay.
Or Scott.
Memphis? Ew. Adam Scott, has turned out like...
Is Tiger going to play?
He hasn't played so long. I think he does. But I guess he could think he's got 3 FedEx Cup events. He's not playing the Wyndham.
Bryson usually sticks around to play that German event the week after. I don't know if that's still the week after. Remember he did that last year?
I doubt he would.
And then had like a meltdown.
That was this one?
Yeah. He should have won, then he didn't win.
Yeah, and he didn't shake the guy. He was like, the guy's hand.
His caddy was like, let's go shake their hands. And he was like, no, not doing it.
In some journey, he lost like a real journeyman, I remember one.
Yeah, but then he ended up winning 2 FedEx Cup events, so it was not that big of a deal. Spieth? He's got British Open vibes, man. He actually is another one who qualifies as that. He comes in from like the Zach Johnson form. He has 3 top 10s in his past 5 starts.
Actually?
Yeah, he does.
From what?
3rd, 8th, and 7th.
Wow.
He makes Colonial, the PGA Championship, and whatever the week after was.
Well, the US
Travelers.
Listen, the guy, I'm self-aware enough to know. It's sort of like with Phil a few years ago. If he cleans up like the insane amount of bogeys he's making so many birdies. The fact that he like can finish where he finishes in spite of all those bogeys, I'll say is a credit to him. Has he played since the U.S. Open?
Yes, he played. I believe he played Travelers.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he did. He missed the cut. He was 65th at the U.S. Open, then missed the cut at Travelers the next week.
I don't care. I'm not there. I'm not
there either. But it's a good number for him. And even when he was garbage last year, he shows up to Carnoustie and all of a sudden he's second.
Yeah, I would rather bet Cantlay, but I'm not.
Cantlay
and Stenson couldn't hit a putt again. Yesterday, he could not hit a putt. His ball striking has been outstanding.
All year, it's been awesome.
But his ball striking for the last like 6 weeks, 2 months has been so good. It would be hard for him to do anything in that metric to improve it. And you won't be able to check it because it was a European event. You won't have the stats. But it was literally like a guy hitting 400 who just went 3 for 6. Like he actually improved a metric that, like, how could he improve on it?
I guess what I'll say is historically, amazing links player. He's won a claret jug in the past. And what if we just get...
But we were waiting. We made this. We've been talking about this. You're betting him, and you're just hoping for it.
We've been betting him at 30-1, 35-1. Like the one thing that people need to realize when you're betting people at 30-1, in order to make a profit on that, they only need to win once in 29 times.
No,
you bet it 30 times, you win once in the 30 times, you're even, you win once.
There's a lot worse bets you can make on Stenson. I wouldn't besmirch a Stenson bet at all. I am just like feeling less. This was a real kick in the nuts if you are like waiting for that putting round.
Also, the big thing with him too is if the weather all of a sudden shows up and it gets super blustery, you're going to want Stenson and his 3-wood off the tee, I'm telling you. Like he's one of the only favorites. Him and Molinari, I think, and potentially even Spieth.
Woodland?
Woodland's not one of the favorites. He's 60-1.
We're talking 3-woods.
We're not even in his.
We're talking 3-woods.
We're not even in his range yet.
Stingers
of the favorites with bad conditions. We said it probably helps like Brooks and Dustin the most from the very top, but Molinari and Stenson I think have the most to gain by like crappy conditions.
I want to believe that Fowler also is benefited by crappy conditions.
You sound like Mulder at this point. You just want to believe.
I won't be betting Stenson at 30. There were numbers. I stared at it for 2 months. It just dropped.
We should have bet this when it was 60-1 like 3 weeks ago. Yeah. Bet on us. Do you want to make, it sounds like you like Fowler. You want to make a Stenson versus Fowler bet?
No.
Why not?
All I know is hopefully things are coming up me. I could have baby swag during this thing.
This is true.
My wife was also like, because we're at the point now, essentially like tomorrow, she feels like we're on the clock. The second one, they say, like historically comes.
Does that mean you might not be here for the live show on Friday?
No, she's
is there a Q next to your name on the injury report? You're questionable for Friday?
No, I just might. No, we're all like chilled. I'm just like, she's like, leave your phone on during the thing. And as you know, we've joked over the years. There's only like, my dad is the only person in the world who, if he called right now, I would be like, can we stop this? But if she calls during that show, I'll know something's up. But I would also probably, like if Ricky or someone I had bet on was still like on a par 5 or something, that would be like my Juji fruits. Like I would have to wait to see how that played out.
It's only Friday. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, and listen, she's a pro. I'm sure anyone that's had a second kid, like imagine like your whole like going to like we're much more chill about like everything
this time around.
Yeah.
Well, you know how it works now.
Yeah. Yeah. So
there's a lot of value in that experience that comes along with it. Like we were a mess for like 6 days.
Yeah.
I was going from here to the hospital, like waiting, like, is the baby starting to come yet? No, okay, I gotta go back to work.
It's all like overwhelmed. Now it's like, like chilled and well, not, it'll be a thing, but anyway.
Do you put any stock into the fact that older players, generally, not like old players, but the average winning age of the British Open over like the past 10 years, like 35?
Yeah.
Spieth is really the only one who bucked that trend.
I think there's a crafty vets part of it. And if that weather forecast looks ugly, I want to fill my card with potential crafty vets.
Yeah.
The
Bad news on Justin Thomas.
Yes, the number has dropped, but like guys like Stenson and Kuchar and you and Justin Ray did a thing on Leishman, and we'll get to him. But if things are going to get ugly, there's a handful of players that I think fit that mold and become very live. Even a guy like Sergio.
I'm probably off Sergio.
I'm not saying...
I'm not betting him to win, but let's talk Evil Kuchar. Is this exactly what he needed in order to finally win a major? I think this course might be his best shot.
It might be his. And he looked, again, if I had one of those Kuchar tickets...
He had a bad day. He did the same thing Justin Thomas did at the Scottish Open, but his bad round was on Friday, not Saturday.
My point being is, if I had a Kuchar bet, I'm very pleased with how his Scottish went. He didn't like peak, but he is so comfortable playing links golf. He is so just in it. He doesn't, it suits his game very well. He seems to really like it.
I would also be pretty thrilled about the number. If I had previously bet Matt Kuchar, that the number that I have is not 35-1, it's 50-1 or 60-1 or something like that. Now it's at 35. I still kind of want to do it. Like, I think, where does Kuchar play well? He generally plays really well on Bermuda grass, and that's not what this is going to be. But he's won on courses that aren't Bermuda grass in the past. He tends to play really well on coastal courses where the wind can pick up. This is a coastal course where there is no wind. And you go back and look at his track record at Open Championships. 9th last year. Obviously, when we had all the money on him at 80-1, he lost to Jordan Spieth. But he was 2nd that year. He hasn't missed a cut since 2011, I think. At the British Open.
Of those guys, he would be my favorite pick. I mean, Stenson to be 30 and him to be 35 doesn't really make much sense.
Stenson's won the British Open before. That's why. Like, that gets baked into your number.
I guess.
But is this evil part of him exactly what he needs? This is legitimately right now, I guess, the year that he won the Players might have been better because he won the Players. But this is the best year he's ever had.
Outstanding. And every time I think, like, how could he keep it up? Like, his every term is like, can he...
Does it make you want to wear Skechers golf shoes?
I was willing. If he could have won that day in my own head, I was prepared to sign like a 2-year contract with Skechers. Retire all my Jordans.
Okay, so let's just throw this out here right now. Let's take Thomas off the board because we both bet him at 40-1. Would you rather bet Stenson at 30 or Kuchar at 35? Kuchar. So Kuchar at 35. Scott at 33 or Kuchar at 35?
Kuchar.
I think that one's close.
It is close, but every time this year, I think Kuchar's form has like sort of run out. He has another great tournament.
Scott is riding super hot form.
Every tournament Scott enters, there's a moment in it where I'm like, oh my God, he's actually going to win. Now, it's just a moment because there'll be a 4-footer.
Maybe that's what it comes down to between all the guys in this range. If you need a 7-foot par putt to get to a playoff or to have the win or just to stay in the mix on Saturday, who is hitting that putt? Adam Scott or Matt Kuchar? The answer is Matt Kuchar.
The answer is Matt Kuchar, and Stenson's the wild card there because he can become the Terminator.
Yeah, he's the JB Holmes of good players.
Yeah, like he does have that mode where if it really matters, and like I would really trust him because he does have that zone to go into. Well, granted, Scott does also. Scott, I will say, long before we ever met, that British Open, that Open he lost was my, like, at that time was just soul crushing to me. Me personally, I had never bet on a guy, bet a major winner, and that one was just dark. I literally went full throttle on everything I had in the house, and then I went to see whatever Christian Bale Batman movie was out at the time, like alone. I was just in seclusion. I was not okay.
Is this why you hate Ernie Els? Big N?
That being said, Scott did redeem himself at the Masters, but you could argue he's owed a jug by some. It was like 4 shots on like the 15th or something. I
mean, maybe day one you won't be able to realize it or not, but you'll see a lot of Jordan Spieth because the coverage, let's say, for the British Open is the best coverage of all the majors. It starts at 1:30 a.m. Eastern time on Golf Channel and goes all the way through the end of the round.
So what do you mean we'll see a lot of
We'll see a lot of everyone. We'll see a lot of Spieth just because they show Spieth. You heard Justin Ray say it. Like he said, if you want to talk like most popular golfers, like Jordan Spieth's one of them. It's funny, like the way that we think about it, just because we're on like internet bubbles, that is not the
Yeah, I
case
get
whatsoever.
it. I get it. And
But-
he's also polarizing because there is a great group of people that really dislike him too.
Yeah. It's good to be, you want to be on either side of it. But if you come out and all of a sudden, like, he is making every 20-footer, that's what he did last year to stay in contention. He was just making every putt, that he's going to be there in the end.
So bet him.
I don't know. I think I might bet.
Would you rather bet Kuchar or Spieth?
I don't know is the thing. Like, if you gave me, like, overall win equity between the two, like, you might want to take the guy who has 3 majors instead of the guy who's played for 50 years and never won one.
I agree. And it's kind of like Tiger.
But I might end up betting Matt Kuchar instead.
I think Tiger is in a real bad spot to get to Sunday in contention. I've said what I've said. It's off the top
But
of the
once
show.
he's there.
But if he gets there, fuck. Like sort of same with Spieth. I'm not going to go to that level, but because he has been in contention a few times this year. And I disrespect him for what happened on that hole, but he also went to like the next hole and hit it to like 2 feet on the nuts and saved bogey on the hole after Matt ate a sandwich in the fairway.
And then he started making like 70-foot putts. And he won by like 3. It was stupid.
That was a dark day too.
Bryson, Wallace,
They can't all be Gary.
and Day. No, they can't. What's the biggest
Day would be the least one.
What's the biggest Bryson? No, Wallace would be the least.
Oh, sorry.
What's the biggest Bryson number that you've bet on for this?
75.
75?
Yeah. There are a few out there.
I don't know if I'm going to pull the trigger at 40.
To me, it's auto season.
Yeah, it is.
I still condone the 40 because it's auto season.
I mean, Justin Thomas was that number that I really liked, and I think that Justin Thomas, I think that Bryson can be, when he's on, one of the top 5 players in the world. It's just I've seen Justin Thomas consistently do it, and the ball striking isn't abnormally weird week to week like it is with Bryson.
The 75s, the 66s, the 60s. It's like I should almost check right now. They probably haven't, but like I should have when I was betting those. Because this is when Bryson was struggling. But you make that bet under the faith of like, well, the Open is in like a month, 6 weeks. Like he's Bryson. Like no one is going to be practicing and hating their life more to be good at what's happening than him. Obviously, he has clearly found something. Now, he could blow up, and I still think that Memphis and the FedEx Cup suits him very well. I wish I checked when he was at his lowest points this year, if they would have moved his Masters numbers for next year, but I doubt it.
Bryson, 2 Open championships, 51st, and a missed cut.
Not ideal. And last year, there was that great video of him literally like spazzing on the range.
Remember, he had a hurt. Remember, he withdrew from the John Deere the week before with an injured shoulder, too. So that was something maybe to play into it. I'm not going to do it. I am going to try to lean more veteran guy outside of Thomas and Bryson.
Well, those are where my card starts. Bryson and Justin.
Strangely, I think of those 4, I like Day the best.
I don't know what to make of that guy.
Neither do I. I don't think I'm going to bet Day at 40-1, and like Louis there at 45 as well.
Louis,
not in the USA. That's always a big thing for him.
and you know, as Justin pointed out, and it's no secret, Louis in like big events, just there's something about him. He's like Brooks without the wins. Yeah.
Well,
he
has the one win,
yeah,
and it was at
and
this
he
tournament.
has the career second place.
Yeah, him and Dustin.
So he's like Louis with that. Sorry, he's like Brooks without the win. Like he literally seems to, he'll withdraw with 0 Fs given. If a major is coming up, but he's never once withdrawn in a major. Everyone got mad because he withdrew
Byron Nelson, I think.
Yeah, something. And then he got off to such a great start at the US Open. I was like, I was going to play him and I didn't. But like, well, yes, I get being afraid of Louis in those Byron Nelsons and others. But one thing Louis has never done for all his withdrawals is he's never withdrawn in a major, ever. For a guy that everyone's so hyper-focused is going to like pull shoot.
I don't like this number on him. I wish it was like 80.
It should be 80.
Yeah, but it's not.
What's his form? Because he's been playing sneaky well and he can ride good form.
He has, but the biggest thing with Louis right now is I think this number is to hedge against top 10 bets. Remember, we bet him top 10 at the U.S. Open. He finished top 10 at the U.S. Open. But they don't want to post a 90 out there and give you a 10-1
and on that
top
note,
10.
Our American listeners lose out, but our British ones and us, I mean, some of those books have gone to the 10 places.
Yeah. 10 place on the each
10
way,
places.
8 place on the each way.
Now, the books with the 10 places, they seem to have cut the legs out of some odds because they're sort of afraid of getting
I'm gonna fill you in right now. The week after I stopped betting Dylon Fratelli, He is on 18 at 21 under. The next closest guy on the course is Landry at 17 under.
Fuck yeah.
Morikawa, third, by the way.
Did you had a big each way live, no?
I had it each way live, so it wasn't a big each way. But
Dylon!
I could use Landry to bogey one more to get that Von Taylor.
This
each way.
is why people make doubles. I never make them.
The Burn for Telly double would have paid in the
my God.
ridiculous amount.
Yeah, I could have had a baby in the States and paid for some of it.
What was the Burn number? 40?
I got a 36. I came in real late, but I saw 40s.
So 36 and 90 would have been the double?
Yeah.
And you hit both them?
Yeah.
A $5 bet probably would have paid like $30,000.
Oh, I hate myself.
Be happy that you fucking
I am.
won.
I'm thrilled.
I'm sitting here like a loser.
I know.
Like, oh, a Morikawa each way. Great.
And that Herbert, thanks for those 4-footers, bitch.
So for Telly going to the British Open.
Woo! I'm up. I'm really, I thought you bet him.
I didn't. Because I'm a loser. I make losing bets, not winning bets, Jeff. Nah at 66, Woodland at 125, Burned at 36, Fratelli at 90. You, sir, are having quite a 6-week stretch. Can I have some money?
I need every cent right now.
Yeah, so you got that baby swag. The universe
This
knows.
it hit me, I guess.
The universe knows.
I'm telling you, man. And last week I had that dickless Rafa Sunday, and Bryson just got. Ooh, I'd be everywhere.
50 to 100 range. Let's just kind of pick out. So the two that I like the most from here are Leishman and Rafa. I'm in at Rafa at 80. He is down to 66 or 60, I believe. But his form has been really, really good.
Okay, so I have 2 bets in this range.
Yeah, he's at 60 now. I would still play the 60. I prefer the 80, obviously. But looking at him, he finished top 10 at the Scottish. That's 3 top 10s on a row, basically all links courses. He won the Scottish a few years ago, came 4th at the Open that year. I just think he's in really good form. He was 2nd at this course in 2012.
And I think, a T10 this week? Yeah.
So I'm in on Rafa.
I do like Leishman on a forecast. I have bet. I made it when I made the Pebble bet, and it actually is a bigger number than my 125 for Gary at Pebble, is Gary at 150. I've said since it does feel like it's dead money, but it's there. It's funny. They'll actually give me more than I bet on it, like on the cash out, but we'll let that sucker ride if Gary wants to be a legend. Props to me in my Gary Sunday champion shirt. And I bet Wiesberger 150 to 1.
That's nice.
So we'll see.
He ain't that no more. He's 66 to 1.
Yes, thank you. Friends on the internet for bringing that to my attention. They were still hanging that as he put it out there. And I bet he was the first bet I made to win last year's Open Championship. So I'm a sucker for Burned. And as I've said many times, and people who remember our very first shows, I would have had a DraftKings statue made of me if Burden could have won the Masters. Probably just missed the cut, though.
And Leishman's the other guy. I haven't bet him yet. I'm waiting to see the draws with him. But I just look back. He has 3 top 10s the past 5 years at the British Open. And the ball striking has been really good for him. Just the putting. It's almost like lesser Stenson. The ball striking has been as good as Stenson, but the putting has been kind of shaky.
And as Justin pointed out, maybe a lesser extent than Louis, but this guy just has a gear for major championships.
And they're both Rafa and Leishman are right on that number, 35 years old. Could be their time.
I don't mind that. I don't know. I'm on Patrick Reed at like 110, 125.
Yeah, he's 80 here. Do you have any interest in
I worry that his driving accuracy is abysmal.
It's not good.
That being said, when you bet a guy in this range, he has a flaw, and you need a career week in that area.
Yeah, it was like Woodland. All of a sudden, Woodland learned.
Yeah.
Happy learned how to putt. Uh-oh.
No, but that's the thing. I'm aware at how poorly Patrick Reed drives the ball.
Are you surprised how far ahead of its time Happy Gilmore was in really emphasizing tee to green?
Amazing. I think it was an anniversary of that movie this week. I saw some stuff on the Twitter.
Is there anyone else in this range that you like? Are we going back to Hatton?
I think he's a world-class links player. He tossed a mean club. His caddy didn't even flinch and help him find it. He's got a veteran caddy. He's like, dude, you're on your own. The funny thing is he had to use that club on the very next hole and stuck it to like 4 feet. And like
he does that. I will say he does get over his it's almost sometimes he needs to freak out. It gets all like the bad vibes out of his system and then he's good to go. He also helped Justin Thomas find his divot on Friday as well. Justin picked up a divot from the rough that he thought was his, and Tyrrell came over and just handed him. And he was like, "No, this is it, mate." I thought it was a nice thing. Where did Willett drop to?
100.
Yeah, I'll probably just bet that for kicks.
Especially with the places that they're handing out.
What about?
I'm into that.
Okay,
Poulter, what do you want to
No,
give me?
it's not
McDowell, what do you want to talk about?
no, I'm not going to
Fail at 100.
We're not at 100 yet.
Okay.
We're at for 50 to 100. So Rafa, Leishman. Those are really the only two looks that I'm given here. Can you think of anyone else that you want to spitball?
I think Pepperell for those places playing like 10 places is a nice.
I think I would rather just bet the top 10. I don't think Eddie
Sure,
Pepperell's
sure.
going to win. I haven't.
no.
I've constructed one DraftKings team so far, and I made it before the Scottish. I've started to do this before the majors now. That when the pricing comes out, I construct a team full of the 6 guys that I think at that time, because I usually end up talking myself out of all the good plays. Be like, oh, their ownership is too high. I just said, fuck it. And I'm just going to let it ride with these 6 guys. Pepperell's actually on
There have been some really big, really big tickets being able to cash at the Open for these each ways. Every year we see huge guys, not win, but sort of get into that T4, T5.
We had Ryan Moore last year, I think.
I don't even remember the who's of them, but they've consistently, I remember, just big names can come in and make you.
Remember Rose made birdie on 18 last year?
Oh
to
yeah,
make
we were
the
doing
cut?
the show, yeah, and then he almost
He almost
rallied.
won. Yeah. Pepperell was another one who had a huge
Yeah,
weekend.
Rose. He was in. The other guys were still out there. Sorry, one more look over here for me. I can get in on Rafa or Leishman. I'll give a look to. Like I had mentioned, I am in on Woodland, Reed, and Wiesberger in this range, all at bigger numbers than they offer today. I don't know, Pat. Anything else here? It's amazing. Finau's really fallen, but I don't know. This doesn't seem like the time or place.
You know what? He was top 10 at the Open last year. And if this is and this might be a better DraftKings idea than it is an outright betting idea, but if conditions are going to remain calm.
Is his DraftKings price, though, more corollary to like being a 40 or 50 to 1 golfer?
He's 7,800 on DraftKings. So, yeah, I mean, that's...
Yes and no.
He looks a bit actually overvalued for the range that he's currently in based on the odds, but I would rather play Tony Finau than Matthew Fitzpatrick.
And it seems like Matthew Walsh will be incredibly popular for obvious reasons, but more money.
You think it's strange that Wallace has better odds than Woodland?
There is like this thing. I get betting Matt Wallace like 80, 100. I don't know who could make this bet now. I said that about, I don't know. Did we talk about Cantley at all?
No.
Do you have any love there?
I think he's going to perform great. He might win, but that's not what. That's
Has he
not,
played?
that's not
He
where I'm
played
going.
somewhere. The
He played Travelers.
So, yeah.
I screwed it up. I put it in a tweet. I meant to say Xander, and I said Cantley by mistake, who hadn't played, but he has played.
Yeah, so I think I'm done here. I don't believe that Poulter could pull it off or McDowell.
Poulter had a nice run this week at the Scottish.
I would be far more into the players that we've mentioned, whether it be Burned or Rafa or Leishman in this
This is
range.
why I'm waiting to invest in this unless I really see a number that I think is going to crash. Because if the weather draw comes out and then all of a sudden like it's garbage on Wednesday and on Thursday and Friday, the Poulters of the world, the Burns of the world, the Pepperells of the world, they might start getting my money. But as it stands right now, looking at the weather, I don't think so. 100 to 1 and beyond. Siwoo, Luke List, boom. Danny Willett?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we're
For sure.
We're lockstep on that. So now to the real players. I don't want to bet him to win, but top 10 on EVR. The guy's really good on links courses.
Top 10 through 54 holes.
What did he finish?
Didn't he? I don't think he finished top 10. What an ejection, man. Holy shit. I had faith. I don't know. You want to get freaky like Andy Sullivan?
No.
Thorbjorn sometimes can catch a heater in these
Thorbjorn,
things.
maybe.
I don't know how. I think he played decent in Ireland last week.
He was 15th in Ireland. He was 10th before that. So he's not playing like poorly.
No,
Oh,
and
Luke List, 250 to 1? Here
Listen,
we go.
if
What's Siwoo, 600 to 1?
Don't
Siwoo's 300 to 1? Oh, man, this is great. Putnam played well this week, too.
I mean, people laugh, but the each way you hit back here will pay more than if one of those big 7 win.
Yeah, I mean, the reason that I've been able to, like, I wouldn't say stay afloat, I've been losing money, but, like, hitting List at 40 to 1, for his top 8 at the PGA Championship helped me out a lot.
Listen, it wasn't as big as a bet as I would have put on an outright, but the winner paid 8-1.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's all relative. Jorge Campillo 225, I think is a nice.
Like Otagi's down there. What about your main man? Now that he I know he loves missing 4-foot putts, but Benjamin Ibarre.
No, but I love him.
He's your guy now?
I do love him. Kevin Kisner.
What happened to him this week? He was like having a good first round, and then I just completely lost track of him. Putnam was like the interesting one. Griot's played this course in competitive form before.
Yeah.
And
do
made
you
the
have
cut.
any? So guys like Griot, like Russell Knox, like that sort of type.
Only if the wind picks up. If the wind's not up, like no thanks. I'd rather have Luke List.
Where was Justin Harding like cool for 3 weeks?
You remember?
Was it the Masters?
Yeah, Masters.
Yeah.
He earned a spot back at the Masters next year.
Good for him. Keith Mitchell.
Xander Lombard, I believe, won the British Amateur or came second at the British Amateur in 2016.
Listen, if there's no wind and it's just about like bombing the crap out of it, Xander, I don't know how huge that number is, but
Congratulations, Mr. Fienberg.
it's over.
Unless Fratelli or unless Landry makes an eagle on 17 and makes a hole-in-one on the par 4 18th, I think you're pretty good at 90-1, sir.
Thank you.
The only one that really sticks out here, and I know that all the sort of things that we've been saying, like bombers, big ball strikers, I think 125-1 is too deep for Snedeker.
It's okay to have bombers, but if you want to like supplement it with a couple of if it plays the other way, that's the guy you want, kind of, right?
Yeah, and he's played well at British Opens. He was, let's see.
I don't mind.
He's hit or miss. He missed the cut last year, then he was 22nd, missed the cut, 58th, 11th, 3rd. He comes in with like decent
My
form,
card
though.
seems like it's going to have a lot of Americans, Pat.
Well, outside of Francesco Molinari, Team Italia, it's been a lot of Americans who win this tournament. I guess Stenson and Molinari. But then you have Spieth, Phil, ZJ.
I love like the British every year is where like your buddies who like to bet majors but don't really follow other golf will like be like Bubba Watson 150-1. You want it?
Oh no, I'm definitely not on that. I mean, I was just thinking
Well,
about his to make or miss the cut wager.
Oh, it might be a good play on what?
Yeah, if there's no wind, I think that he actually does make the cut. But if there is wind, just instantly put all your money on him to miss the cut.
They seem to go.
Has he ever been to Ireland before, do you think? Definitely he's never been to Northern Ireland.
I got no interest. He's already dug himself a hole when he admitted he couldn't or he didn't know how to name a beetle. Seems like he's dead fish at anything overseas.
Yeah, I don't.
He was on the Ryder. Yeah, he was in Paris.
Yeah. He earned his spot. He won 3 times, so he earned his spot on.
You know what I want to do next week?
What?
Well, maybe. Actually, next week's a WGC, right?
Yeah.
Maybe the Wyndham. I want to start just filling out some spots. And I really wish the U.S. team would do would send like a B squad to the President's Cup.
Okay.
I really like. They didn't need to send Brooks and Dustin, and Tiger doesn't need to play as a captain.
What about the Beef? Beef got himself into the Open. Amazing final round. At the
I
Scottish.
almost shed a tear if you saw his post.
He was
after.
fired up.
He was fired up. He got emotional. Apparently, he's got a kid coming momentarily.
Oh, baby swag Beef.
He's been battling.
All right, let's make note of that.
He's been battling some depression issues that he's been open about, so that's courageous in and of itself. He's tumbled like to 300. Wow.
Too much Arby's. You and Beef.
Dude, there's not an Arby's in the 416. I wish.
Really? Do you wish?
Sometimes, yeah.
I don't. It's putting cheese whiz on a burger is
come on.
not what I'm you know who that sounds like? Tim.
Do you want to know something? The most underrated condiment going to me is liquid whiz. Don't look at me like that.
You deserve to be shamed.
I'm into the beef, sure, but I'm not betting it. Nope.
So Snedeker is really the only one. I like your talk of Olesen. I don't hate that. But I don't know if I can pull the trigger. I guess it's going to depend on the tee time draws. Like, there's some big numbers.
Do you want to know? You could also, with all the things that you have laid out, Pat, for your criteria that cut it down, whether it be the recent form, the past top 10s, throw in world rankings of guys that have won this tournament. I think it's even like going back to Zach. It's like never above 40. Like, you could really cut down who's going to win this thing.
Yeah, that's why I want to look at the weather. I do think that if there is extreme weather, then it does open up the field to long shots.
If there's an extreme weather, I double dip on Danny Willett.
Okay. Quick picks for the British Open. Again, my cheat sheet will be up on my Facebook page, facebook.com/thepme Wednesday. I'll be delivering those picks, first round leaders, whatever I'm playing on Wednesday's live chat at 1 p.m. Eastern Time on the DraftKings YouTube channel. Be up on my podcast feed, Pat Mayo Experience, after the fact on demand. But if you have questions, jump in the chat there.
Did you bet Ben Ann?
Did I bet Ben Ann?
Would you?
Who knows? I probably will because I'm an idiot. But guys I'm in on right now, I have wagered on Justin Thomas at 40-1, Rafa Cabrera-Bello at 80-1 with an each way. Luke List and Siwoo Kim will be on my card at 250 and 300-1 with the each way. That will be my list to start with. I am giving a hard look to Mark Leishman, Brent Snedeker, and one of those Adam Scott, Stenson, Kuchar range guys. Maybe two of them. Unless I decide, because I think we might see some drift on the Dustin number. Like 16-1 is pretty enticing.
You think we got more?
We might get up to 18. And if we get up to 18, I might have to just pull the trigger.
I might. Under 20-1, Dustin Johnson is the only guy I'm considering.
And it's not that I particularly like him more than all the other guys. In fact, I like Brooks more, but I think Dustin at 18-1 is better than Brooks at 10-1.
Under 30-1, I got to just think about Xander because am I a loser who doesn't want to miss it? Maybe. But I just look at his track record every time.
Hasn't played since the U.S.
I
Open.
know. That's the thing. I'd have made this bet already.
So to reiterate, Tiger, Xander, Adam Scott, Webb Simpson, Justin Rose, the five guys that have not played since the U.S. Open.
I really, really do not like that.
It's not great. 1976, the last time
I do not
someone
like that.
won with that, and it was Johnny Miller of all people.
And I mean, it goes both ways because if he didn't have such a great appearances in the Open already, I would write him off instantly. But it's like those results keep pulling me back.
It was like his U.S. Open stuff that he had never finished outside the top 10 of a U.S. Open.
He finished, what,
And then
third? Because he made a great Sunday?
He's never finished outside the top 20 in 2 British Open appearances. Xander, that is.
I really like him, but I haven't made that bet yet. Bryson, 60... 75-1.
Would you bet him at the 40 number?
I would, because
Okay.
to me, I've said, like, I am all in. Like, I would bet Bryson everywhere. If there's a book that could, like, just anytime Bryson win, might even be better value based on how much I'm planning on betting him this week. And if he wins, this will change that. But this week at the WGC
and through the FedEx
full
Cup.
bear at FedEx Cup on. And Justin Thomas, I might say the same. Imagine to be able to bet both these guys at 40-1 in Memphis in a week. Oh,
Don't think that's going to happen.
don't think so. I like them both, and then the other guys I have who've also Woodland 150, Wiesberger 150, and Patrick Reed 110, which might even be 125. I don't know why I have 125 here, but I think it's 110.
One and done picks for the British Open. The last chance. I mean, the WGC, the rest of the tournaments, except for the Wyndham right now, are huge. There's 5 tournaments left in the season, 4 one and done.
Yeah.
So I got to go off the board because I'm not doing great. I'm beating you, but I'm not doing great, to tell you the truth. So
I go first.
All right, yeah, because Joel Damon missed the cut. Not great for me.
I went with Neiman. If I did want to go real off the board, I don't know how off the board it would be now, but Wiesberger would have my attention. But I'm gonna go with Evil Matt.
Evil Matt?
Evil Matt.
Evil Matt Kuchar. Sounds like you need to bet on Matt Kuchar.
I don't mind Matt Kuchar. I don't mind your Rafa pick. I just worry.
I actually can't use Rafa.
I actually worry Rafa just
isn't good enough to do it, because I worry about that too.
I just worry if there's a man chasing him on Sunday, he's just gonna crumble. Especially if he's not on the green in regulation.
He's so handsome though.
He's pretty good.
He can use his handsomeness to really deflect.
Guys like
unless it's Adam Scott trying to chase him down, I think he's good.
sometimes I wonder if it's Bazzelli hitting his par putts. Or like chipping from the bunkers when it's supposed to be Rafa, because he's becomes a different golfer sometimes when he could be so zoned in. But yes, guys like Rafa, guys like Adam Scott, they could literally feel like they should be landing with a parachute on some fancy balcony like 007. Did you see the Rom at Wimbledon picture?
I did.
Oh, what a boss. Love that guy.
I'm going to go with, I believe I've used Justin Thomas, and I think he missed the cut the week that I used him. I've used Rafa. I'll take Leishman. Leish's pieces will be my one and done. I need someone to go off the board. Do you just get the money deposited into your account for Fidelity?
No, I just got like that alert that someone that just, I knew it happened, but just the text alert from, which I should cancel on my PGA app notification. That's all. Sorry. Do you think they'll do a good app this week?
No. Yes, I think that this app will not be as good as the Masters, but I believe that I hold out hope that it is better than the PGA and the US Open.
As we've discussed, no app can be the Masters because no course can afford to put that much into it like they can because of its setup. Why not? I don't know.
If they care that much about like the investment that they make to make this one really good, why don't they sell off their technology to everyone else and make billions of dollars?
Oh, you mean outsource the apps?
No, like if you're the PGA and you're like, our app is fucking terrible. Hey, Masters, can we buy your technology so we can make our app better? But are the Masters saying no?
No, but I think individually the courses in those tournaments would have to like invest. And if you're on like a 2 or 3 year contract, I don't know if it's worth it. No, there's certain places, maybe like a Bay Hill, the players, maybe certain places should.
Okay, well, why doesn't the USGA and the RNA go by the technology?
The USGA that was the abomination, right? That actually was worse than the PGA one.
Yes.
The RNA won't let us down.
They generally don't.
That being said, the European Tour doesn't even have anything.
Well, this isn't the European Tour, it's the RNA. I do appreciate the RNA is... No one really gives the RNA heat over anything. They do a great tournament setup. As opposed to the USGA, who's just like, we need to make this the most difficult thing. We need to make it unfair. Like, it doesn't seem like the RNA is too concerned if someone shoots 24 under. It's like, hey, if they shoot 24 under, they shoot 24 under. No big deal. And we can have tournaments that are super high scoring or super low scoring.
They accept that their courses are all sort of like Pebble in that they're oceanside, and if there is no wind, like they're not going to, I don't know, break the back of the course to make something happen that isn't that becomes unfair. I don't know.
If you want to know Tim's one and done pick, you can check out the cheat sheet on Wednesday or just rewind earlier in this episode and hear the Cust picked for that. Any final thoughts on the British Open?
We're going to be so long without a major after this. Like, they've all been piggyback, but after this one, it's not till the Masters. And I don't know about you, I got my loser email.
Yeah, I lost too. I did not get my Masters tickets this year.
Whatever, I'm used to it. I don't know. It's the Open.
Do you know what this also starts, though? British Open is over. You know what that means? With no PGA Championship?
Football.
It's basically officially football season. Do you have a Melvin Gordon thing to say? It seems like you have a Melvin Gordon thing to say.
This motherfucker. Sorry, I don't want to say it. No, because everyone should get paid. I don't like that he's taking advantage of Phillip Rivers, who takes less money to begin with. And my team is so good, Pat. We've done such a good job drafting 3rd through 6th rounds. We got real positions to pay. This guy, any comparison to Le'Veon Bell, you're out to lunch. Melvin could sit the whole year. He still would owe us one. He is picking the wrong organization to pick a fight with.
It's fine. I have a show.
Because we will dig in and 2 years, bye. See you in 2 years. You'll still owe us a year, pal. You better watch what you say. He's phonying this up too. You've met him. He's like a good guy culture guy. He's like always hanging with Keenan and Derwin. Like they're a very tight-knit group. So now he's trying to play this bad guy. I don't mean bad guy. Do what you got to do. He's on crack.
Yeah, but if there is one, because I mean, the internet kind of agrees. And like, if this was baseball, it just would never happen. But where it is football, and there still are enough front offices who are like slow.
Trade him?
Someone might trade for him and pay him.
Trade for him? I'll go give a 3rd to Cleveland for Duke. You want to pay?
You don't need to give a third to Cleveland for Duke.
I'm just
and
saying.
you don't even need Duke. You have Eckler.
I really like Melvin. He has grown on me, but this is a guy that took the full bear in college, played all those years, was run heavy. He had a Liz Frank injury. Get a clue. He wants Gurley money. He won't play for 2 years, Pat, because this is what can happen. He will still owe us his 5th-year team option. He can show up week 8 fresh. I got no problem with that because after his 800-yard, he sucks every year. But he can show up fresh in the second half of the year. That's cool. And then we can franchise tag him next year.
You don't want to franchise tag a running back.
My point being is there's no he sits out. He doesn't just become a free agent like Le'Veon. That's all I'm saying. This thing, and he's playing with an organization, we will dig in. We've dug in with Hall of Famers.
I was going to say, the first time I can ever remember anyone actually missing a substantial portion of a season by holding up
Vincent Jackson. What about when the AJ Smith suspended Antonio Gates for the first 2 games and we had a 1st and goal versus Dallas for the win and we couldn't throw a... Ugh! I'm just saying, we do things. Look what we did with Bosa. He's just, this isn't Pittsburgh. No one gives a shit. Who cares? Fantasy people. The local market doesn't care. There's not 3 a.m. radio shows talking about you, Melvin. He's just picked the wrong organization to pick this fight in, and I'm just upset because he's taking advantage of the Phillip Rivers clock. He wants to get paid on Phillip's clock.
I don't begrudge the guy for trying to get paid. Do what you got to do, man.
I agree, but he's looking at X and O metrics when the advanced metrics that I know my GM's looking at saying, this guy's nuts. And it's a real shame because I'm real excited. And I'm so upset my first segment of Chargers Radio had to be like this. Because I'm fired up.
Geoff Fienberg. Follow him on Twitter at GFienberg17. You can follow me at the PME. Facebook, Twitter, the Instagrams, you can do that too if you want to get into those draws for the 250, 150, and 20 DK dollars. Rewind to the beginning of the show and you can find the 3 ways to do that. And if you are a member of fantasynational.com, share this show around and you will be eligible to be in a draw for a 1-year annual membership. And if you're not a member and you do want to be in that draw to potentially get in, go get yourself a weekly this week. I mean, if you're not signed up as you're watching this right now and become a member, you will be eligible for the draw this week. So if you're not a member, then you're not eligible for the draw. Tough break. Become a member right now, fantasynational.com. I'm Pat Mayo. Good luck at the British Open. We got more shows coming all this week in the live chat, 1 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday. Cut Sweats Live. Hopefully Jeff's here. Although, having the baby would be fantastic, but hopefully, you can wait just a day, Jeff. I think so. But probably around noon on Friday. I'll tweet up the time. So just be up on that. It'll be broadcasted live on YouTube, Facebook, and Periscope. So just go follow me on all those places and you will find the show. All right. I'm Pat Mayo. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!